folks, welcome. This is Gently Chaotic Knits, which is a mostly video podcast about knitting. Norman was here. You can see his nose. And he's in a little bit of a play mood, so we may have to pause briefly for some plays. We'll see. I threw the toy for you, and you didn't go get it. Oh my goodness. It has been a day. Oh, it has been quite a day. So those of you that follow me on Instagram may have already seen, I posted in my story about what today has been like. I feel like I didn't say the whole intro. I don't know where I'm at today, but my name is Emily. This is Gently Chaotic Knits. I live in Seattle, Washington, normally with my husband Ovis and our pup Norman, but my husband is out of town, so just me and Norm. And we are just doing the best that we can today. We are just doing our best. I normally save the kind of like life update stuff for the end, but I have to tell y'all what happened to me today, and then I'll get into knitting stuff. I think it was a couple months ago, we started to hear this sound, or I say we. I'm going to throw a little bit of shade at my partner here. I started to hear our car was making a sound, and I said to my husband, do you hear this? Like, the car is making this kind of like squealing sound, and he was like, no, I don't hear it, whatever. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm crazy. I'm like, I don't know, I'm inventing this. Then it was maybe last week. Norman, what are you doing? Oh, he's chewing his bone, but I have some plant pots on the ground. Let me get them. Okay. So, right. The car's making a sound. Ovis doesn't hear it. Then last week, we're driving back from a run or something, I think. Sorry, I've got something in my eye. Wow, I feel really chaotic today. maybe each episode I should have up like a visual that's from like gentle to chaotic and like where I am on that spectrum each episode, just to give you all an idea of like what to expect. And today I feel like it's much more we're closer to chaotic today, the energy. But okay, a week ago we are driving back. We're driving up a hill and accelerating, and the windows are down. And I'm like, Ovis, you have to hear this sound. He's like, I definitely hear it, and asks me if it's the same sound that I had been hearing. And I was like, yes, it is. So at that point, he's like, all right, we need to take the car to the mechanic. We're planning on taking a road trip down to Oregon this weekend, and so he really wanted to make sure that we got the car looked at. And after some research and also talking to my dad, we were like, okay, we think this is some sort of belt, like a timing belt or a serpentine belt. There's so many different words. I don't know anything about cars. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, we're like, okay, we probably need to have this belt replaced. We went, y'all do not need this much background about my car, but basically we were like, okay, we need to get this belt replaced probably. Well, Ovis went out of town, so I have to, on my own, deal with taking the car to the mechanic. It's not a huge deal. I mean, I don't love it, but, you know, who loves being an adult? Not me, I don't. I don't know if other people do, but it feels like a lie. If you actually enjoy, like, taking care of this stuff, I don't know. I don't understand you. So anyway, I take the car to the mechanic yesterday. Ovis had talked to him on the phone, and he said that if there was a belt issue, he could replace it the same day. So I take the car to him yesterday, and there's more to the story. Like, I end up just kind of like hanging out nearby, and then he's like walking and sees me. I don't think he was gonna call. I don't know. It was very confusing. Anyway, and he eventually, I talked to him, and he's like, the belt does need to be replaced. I can't do it today. You have to bring it back tomorrow. Fine, whatever. So yesterday, I didn't try to go back home when I took the car to the mechanic. I just hung out there. Around there. There was like a coffee shop nearby. I had some like work and some knitting I needed to do, so I just hung out. Today, I was like, I think it's so I took the car back to the mechanic this morning. Like, I really think it's gonna be a longer thing, so I'm gonna go back home. So I don't have anyone else here. Like, Nofus isn't here. We don't even have 2 cars anymore. So I drop the car at the mechanic, leave my keys with him, and then I take the bus back home. And when I get home, I realize, Emily, you idiot, you left him all of your keys, including my house key. So I could not get back into my home. So Norman's inside. I am now just sitting outside of my house. He said it was going to be a couple hours, so I was like, it's not really worth it to go back, get the house key, come back here. I was like, I'm just going to wait. I luckily had some stuff outside with me, although I had sunscreen. I didn't put any on, and I'm worried that I got a little bit of sun. But I also, actually, once I realized that, I went and I took some finished object photos of my Slanty stripes, which was on my list of things to do today because there is a test knitting call, which I'm going to talk about more in a second. And I also had some knitting, and I had my phone, so I did some work on my phone. Yeah, and I just hung out for a couple hours, and then I went back, and I decided at one point, he hadn't actually called me. I decided, I was like, I'm going to just go back and see if it's close to being done, and if not, I'm going to pick up my house key and I'm going to come back. And when I went, they said they were almost done, and so I just hung out and I picked up the car. So that's how my day started. I also, maybe this is TMI, but I really had to go to the bathroom and couldn't get into my house. But I had planned, I didn't want to like let Norman out and then put him back away again, and I needed to go to the grocery store, so I ended up picking up the car, and then I went to the grocery store, and I had to get groceries or whatever, and then I came back home, and then I let Norman out, and I went to the bathroom, and anyway, sorry, that was probably awkward, but we're quite a bit in here, and I haven't yet talked anything about knitting or crafting or anything, just about my turmoils, but that is why it has been interesting, a weird day. My original plan was to record this morning when I came back after dropping the car off, but of course I could not do that because I could not get into my home. So we're back. I've got the car. It's not making the noise anymore. I am in my home, and I'm recording this, so we're back on track for the day. We'll see what else I'm able to accomplish with the rest of my day, but it's been a day. So, I was going to say that I think today's episode is going to be a little bit shorter, but I did not anticipate talking for like 10 minutes at the beginning about my experience with the mechanic. So maybe it won't be that much shorter, but I've really only worked on one thing this week. I did still want to make sure to record though, because I have some exciting news. The application is up and ready to go for test knitting the Slanty stripes. So I've actually gotten tons of questions about this. It seems like lots of you are interested in test knitting this pattern, and the time has finally come. There should be a link in the description box for a application that you can, it's like a Google form that you can go and fill out, and, you can fill it out, and then I think I mentioned this last time when I talked about it, but today is, well, okay, so I'm recording on Tuesday, July 12th. It's actually mine and Nofus's dating anniversary, not our wedding anniversary, but we have been together today for 11 years. Crazy. Anyway, so today is Tuesday, July 12th. Tomorrow is when this video is going to be published, and that is Wednesday, July 13th. So you are welcome to apply. I may end up closing some of the sizes depending on how many people I get applying for them. And I'm not going to email the pattern out or select testers until Monday. So all that information is in the application. You don't have to worry about remembering that or anything, but I'm not going to email anyone until Monday, and the primary reason for that is that we are going on a weekend trip. We're taking a little trip to Oregon, and I do not want to send the pattern and then immediately be unavailable, because I'm going to be not working. I'm going to be disconnecting for the weekend. So I will accept applications during that time, and then Monday morning we'll have the pattern all ready, and I will go through and read everyone's applications and make any selections for sizes that I have lots of folks applied for, and then I will send out the pattern and we'll get started. So the test is going to run roughly 6 weeks. It is going to start next Monday, July 18th, and then run through towards the end of August. So Friday, August 26th is the date I have earmarked right now for the end of the testing period. Just want to make sure that I give plenty of time for folks. I know this can be a busy time, but also especially for folks knitting the larger sizes. So there are 9 sizes in the pattern. This one I'm wearing is the 2nd size, and the pattern is intended to have 6 to 10 inches of positive ease, and this one has 7 inches of positive ease on me. So I'll kind of scoot back and let you guys see it a little bit more. My bust circumference is around 33 inches, and this is the 40-inch size, which is the 2nd size. And then the sizes are in 4-inch increments from 36 to 68 inches. So hopefully there's a size there that that works for everyone. And yeah, I'm really excited about it. I got some really fun pictures this morning. I have already worn this a ton since I finished it and blocked it. It just makes me really happy to wear. I feel like the shape and the fit is just really fun, nice and relaxed, but still very summery. The colors I love, I've talked about extensively. And as far as like requirements for the test knit, I will say, so the yarn, this is a fingering weight yarn. I used a combination of different wool blends from Woolberry Fiber Co. But you don't have to use that yarn. You can use any yarn that you get gauge with. I'm open to testers making modifications to the pattern. However, I do want to maintain the intarsia stripes. So you can do like more or fewer contrast colors if you want to. You can change like some of the edgings if you want to, or the body length or whatever. But I do want to make sure that we are actually doing the stripes, because that's where I want to get a lot of the feedback. So really appreciate everyone who is potentially considering testing this for me. I can't tell you how much I appreciate everyone's positivity and support about this pattern. And I will also want to take a moment here just to say a huge thank you to my tech editor, Sylvan. I've worked with her in the past as well, and truly, like, the pattern that you all see is it is what it is because of Sylvan. Like, she has done such incredible work helping me get this pattern together and ready for you all. And there are so many things that like she sends me notes or feedback, and I think, oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that at all, but like such a good thought. So she's great. She's on top of it, and we are putting together the best pattern that we can for you all. So yeah, definitely check out the application if you're interested in test knitting. So yeah, that's really all I have on that. I have a couple of items to just talk about that I've been working on. I also realized last episode I mentioned briefly this sock that I finished for my brother, and for some reason I thought I had already shared it on the podcast, but I hadn't. So I'm going to share it now. This is not something I finished this week. This is something I finished the previous week, but I never showed you all the finished sock. So this is a sock that I knit for my brother Ben, and it is just a self-drafted 3x1 ribbed sock. I did 1x1 ribbing at the top, and then I went into 3x1, and I did 64 stitches on a US size 0. I think my small circumference gauge is pretty loose, so I always have to go down needle size more than I expect, and also fewer stitches than I I think other people do, just because I think my gauge is pretty loose. The yarn I used is from Grenouille 2021 Advent. This was the December 25th full skein, and the colorway is Wolfsbane, and it's really cute. It's like a nice gray, blue, brown color. I keep stretching it. That's what I always do with ribbing. It just feels good to stretch it. Anything else I need to share about this? It is not blocked yet. I also have not yet cast on the second one. I'd love to finish this. I'm going back to Oklahoma in early August to visit my family, and I would love to finish the second sock by then so that I can give them to my brother, but we'll see. I have other stuff that I'm working on, and honestly, I have not been knitting that much. I think it's just been really heavy pattern writing time because I've been working on this pattern, and then also have just, I mean, honestly, I think I talked about this last time too. The weather has been getting good, so I'm doing things outside of my home. It was my birthday last week, and so we did quite a bit of just like fun activities outside, and the weather was gorgeous. Couldn't have been more perfect. I got very lucky. So, yeah, knitting time has been minimal, but I do have progress on, this is basically the only thing I've worked on this week. Actually, I think it legitimately is the only thing. I've never been this monogamous. I've only worked on one thing. I started to swatch for another project, which I'll tell you guys about in a second. But otherwise, the only thing I've worked on is the Moonset tee by Ozetta. So here it is. And I told you all last time that what I was hoping for, like, this was not a very ambitious goal. I was like close to this when I mentioned it last week. So I don't know why. I was like, oh, I hope that I can do this. I made it. I was hoping to finish the front and join the front and back in the round and be doing the circular body. And I did. So this, again, is the Moonset tee by Ozetta. The yarn I am using is Ovis, etc. Igneae, which is their fingering weight base. It is a wool, rainy, and silk blend. And the colorway here is Clay, which is just, I love this color. I have mentioned, and I think you guys can probably tell, that recently I've been really into like pinky, reddy, orange, like terracotta type colors. And this is like a lighter kind of peachy, pinky version of that I've really been into. So yeah, the construction for this is really unique. I think I went through some of it last time, but you start on the back, and then there's like short rows on the back to make a nice higher neck area, and then you start knitting the little collar piece and join it on the shoulders, and then knit it kind of around here. And then once you have the front, left, and right parts, you kind of fold this over and knit the front and back collar pieces, or sorry, not front and back, left and right collar pieces together. And then you do the front a little bit and then join under the arm for the body. So I'm supposed to knit 12 inches under like where I joined the front and back, and I think I've done probably maybe 4 if we want to be generous. I guess I can measure. We can see how many inches I've done. Between 3 and 4, I would say. Yeah, just under 4 inches. So I'm maybe a third of the way there, roughly. And then I'm just gonna have to pick up around the armholes and do sleeves, but they're not super long. It's a short sleeved pattern. I believe it has I-cord edging on both the bottom and around the sleeves. So I'll have to do that as well. I did just switch to my second ball, so I just got 2 balls of yarn for this. I think it'll be enough. But I did finish my first ball. I did not alternate skeins. I thought that the two were similar enough, and I'm more willing to do this with tonals or like semi-solids than I am with variegated yarns, because I think there's normally much more variation with variegated yarns, and tonals, especially if they come from the same batch, like same dye lot, I think often are really similar. So I did not alternate skeins. I also hate doing that, so if I can ever convince myself that I don't need to, then I will not. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have worked on. I mentioned oh, did I say what size I'm knitting? I'm knitting the second size. And I think my gauge was slightly off, but pretty close. And I don't remember which direction. And I also don't remember what the finished garment measurement is for this size. So I don't have any of the useful information other than I'm knitting the second size and I have a 33-inch bust. And that's what I have for you. Yeah, so I'm hoping to finish the I mean, it'd be great if I could finish the body before next week, before I talk to you guys next, but I do have another project that I'm going to need to work quite a bit on, and I mentioned this very briefly last week, I think, but I applied for a test knit, so, ooh, I was going to look up before I recorded this how to pronounce this. Should I look it up now, or should I just go for it? I don't know. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to look up how to pronounce this. You guys are going to be like, I should just know how to say this word. Okay. It's not giving me... I'm sorry, I hate that I'm doing this. Okay. Melides? Melides? I'll definitely spell it and put it up on the screen here and also in the description box, but it's a very cute little tank pattern called Melides top, I think. And it's a pattern by Vert Knit, or Vert, I guess. Spelled V-E-R-T. I'm not sure how she pronounces that. But I was really excited to get accepted into this test knit. I have been eyeing this top for a while, so this is actually the second in a series. She designed a dress first that has similar shaping at the top, but has buttons all the way down, and it's reversible, so you can either wear it front or back. Which is just really cute, and if I had more patience and like maybe wore dresses more, I would consider knitting it, but I saw she did a similar shaping for a top. It's like a nice little crop kind of tank top, and it has a square neck on one side and then kind of like a V-neck on the other side, and it's really, really cute. I will put a picture on the screen of it so that you guys can see. And I haven't talked about this a ton, but my friends and I are going to Rhinebeck this year. I think I've mentioned that. But we are also planning to knit some matching garments. And this is one of the tops that I was considering for one of the garments that we are going to make. So I'm really happy to be in the test knit. I'm going to do the test knit, this will not be for my Rhinebeck version, because I just want to see how it goes and like see how much yarn it uses, and it should be a pretty quick knit anyway since it's a tank, so I'm not super worried about it. So I have this other yarn I'm going to use. This is some yarn that was actually gifted to me by my friend Sylvan, my friend and tech editor, Sylvan. She gifted me this yarn. It is Grenouille, and this is it's the Merino linen base, which I don't know if she has another name for it other than just merino linen, but it's 90% superwash merino wool and 10% linen. So like, you know, mostly wool, like not a super like summery fiber. And I hope you guys can kind of see the flex in it. I really want you to be able to see maybe there, okay, now you can see. So they're lighter parts, and I believe that's the linen that doesn't take the dye in the same way. So I think it's just really fun. This colorway is Nacht Musik, which is a color I have used before. I actually knit a cardigan in one of their other bases. Oh, Norman's coming back. Come here. Come on. Come on. What are you doing? Come on, I can tell you want to come up. Okay, here he is. Thank you, a nice kiss. I think Norman misses Office too. Okay, you've got stuff on my face. There we go. All right, he is settled now, resting next to me. I will say just very quickly here, I do like the camera zoomed in a little bit more. Someone had suggested that, and I thought about it as well, just so that the focusing goes a little bit better and you guys can see me a little bit better. But if we're not zoomed out and Norman's on the couch, like, you guys can't even see him right now. So there are definitely downsides to this. Should I zoom out briefly so that you can see him? There's Norman right here. And now you can also see all the things on my couch and the art on my wall and my plants. But we'll go back in so that you can see me a little bit better. Oh, maybe too much. All right, we'll see. Maybe, hopefully. I'm sorry for this. I'm sorry. Okay. What was I talking about? So, I did not do a full swatch for this. I did swatch as much as I'm going to swatch last night, which is, I, cast on a little swatch and I knit back and forth for a while and then I measured it, but then I pulled it off the needle because I think I'm going to need like every bit of yarn I have. I'm actually worried I'm not going to have enough yarn. So we'll see how it goes. So I didn't want to like make a swatch. This is the only skein I have of this. So I didn't want to make a swatch and like cut it, bind off, and block it and everything, because I do think I'll need that yarn for the top. So we'll see. I know often, I know I do this with my patterns, and I know often other designers probably do this too. They include additional yardage in their estimates just to make sure that people are safe, like a 10% addition or whatever. And I'm hoping that that's what she has done here and that I will be just fine. So we'll see. But yes, I am hoping to cast this on. I need a US 2.5 needle, which is what I have here, but it's closer to no ease, this garment. And I think this one is like a 32-inch cable. I think I'd rather do this one on a 24 just so that my stitches aren't all the way stretched out. So I may wait until Thursday when I go to the store, La Mercerie, the yarn store that I work at. I may wait until then and grab a 24-inch needle when I'm there, and then I can cast on Thursday. And that is the knitting I'll probably take on my trip. I'll probably take this as well. And we'll see what I'm able to accomplish. We'll have some driving in the car, but we'll also have some, activity time that I won't be able to knit. So I'm not sure how much I'll accomplish, but this one is a little bit of a quick turnaround for a test knit. It is a 3-week turnaround, which, I mean, it's a summer top, it's a tank, so I don't think it should take too long. And I should be able to finish it by then, but I will have to kind of focus on this, prioritize it, and make sure that I get it done in the time. So that is upcoming. The other thing that's upcoming for me, I was really hoping that I would have the time to cut out and get started on my fringe field bag. So this is a impromptu sew along that my friend Maya and I are doing, and I know she ordered all her materials, so it's about time for us to get started. I was hoping to watch some of the tutorial videos that you guys had suggested and maybe cut up my fabric this week while Ovis is out of town, but I have not gotten to that yet. So we'll see. I think if I do, it'll be tomorrow if I have time to do that. So we'll see what I have time for. I have other pattern stuff and some other just like pre-trip stuff I have to take care of, do laundry and do some packing and give the dog a bath and a variety of other activities. So that's pretty much all I have for knitting and crafting stuff. Yeah, I don't have any acquisitions, no acquisitions. I've continued to not really buy a ton of yarn, so that's all I have for that. Other life things I have that I can mention and talk a little bit about. I mentioned that last week was my birthday, and I also posted about this on Instagram, so you can go check that out if you would like, but on last Friday, it was, Fridays are like our weekend days now. Friday and Sunday are the days that Nafis and I have off together, and Nafis had planned some mystery activities for me for my birthday, since he left to go out of town on Sunday, which was my actual birthday day. And so he had a whole series of activities planned, and I had puzzles that I had to complete to find out what each activity was. So we started off by kayaking through the Ballard Locks, which was so much fun. If you're unfamiliar, locks are, the way it was described to us, and we'd actually seen them before, not via boat, just like walked over and watched them. But it's kind of like a boat elevator, so it goes through between the saltwater Puget Sound and freshwater, and the water level is different on either side. So they have these little gates that boats can go in and hold onto the sides, and then they close the gates and they either raise or lower the water level so that you can go from one side to the other. And we had watched it happen before, but we hadn't ever gone through it. We're not big like boat people. We kayak, but we don't, I mean, like, there are pretty large boats that go through here. Apparently this is the most navigated locks in North America, which is really cool. So we went through in a kayak group, and I can put some pictures up here if you want to see, but we kind of held on to the side and we went up, and then we left, and then we came back right back around and went down. And it was really fun. We got to see some wildlife as well. We saw an eagle, we saw blue herons, we saw seals, we saw all kinds of other birds, and the weather, it was like a little bit cloudy and rainy at the beginning, but by the end it had really, the sun came out and it was beautiful. So really great day. Then we went to Pike Place, and Nafis had all of these different places picked out for us to pick up little bits of food throughout the market. So we picked up our little bits of food, and we took it all to the sculpture park and had a nice little picnic there. Some highlights for me, I will say, there's some stuff I'd had before and some stuff that was new to me. Rachel's Ginger Beer has a Dole Whip float. So you can get, if you're unfamiliar with Dole Whip, it is a pineapple soft serve, which is incredible. Like, one of my favorite things. I love pineapple, I love ice cream, so good. But they have the Dole Whip, and then you can pick any of their ginger beer flavors to make a float. And so I did, it was like a passion fruit vanilla ginger beer with the pineapple soft serve, and it was, oh my god, it was so good. Every time I go to Pike Place, especially in the summer, I'm gonna have to get that because it was so good. Oh man, it was really refreshing on a warm day, and it was just very tasty. So we had that, we had some other treats, and had a nice picnic, and then we came back home and let the pup out. We actually were keeping our friend's dog as well, so we let the pups out. And then we went to the park, and the pups ran around a little bit, and Nafis actually scheduled in some park knitting time for me, which, like, if that's not love, what is? Like, on my birthday, he schedules in time for me to knit. Like, that's knowing someone really well, I feel like. So we had some park time, and I got to sit in the beautiful weather and knit, and then he made dinner for me, my favorite dinner, Vietnamese rice bowls, and then we went and got ice cream in the evening. It was just such a perfect day. It was so sweet, and each activity that I mentioned, I had to complete a puzzle to figure out what we were doing, where we were going. And I loved that. I'm very much a puzzles person, and I told Nafis, I was like, I want you to put together elaborate puzzles for me every day. Like, this was so much fun. But yeah, my mouth hurts a little bit now from smiling because it was just such a fun day, and I felt very loved. So that was a great birthday celebration. And then Saturday I went to work, and Sunday morning Nafis left he's headed back to Oklahoma for a short trip. He actually went for a bot ball conference. Bot ball is actually the robotics club where he and I met in middle school. So he was going back to volunteer and help out with that and speak at the conference and everything, which is really fun. So he left on Sunday morning, and then I got to go and have a great day with some of my friends on Sunday morning. I went and had brunch with one of my friends at Sawyer in Ballard, which I had never been to, and it was an incredible experience. Oh my gosh. The potatoes, like, y'all know I love potatoes, but this was like the best potatoes I've ever had in my life. They were so good. So we went to brunch and then went to the market and then also went to a really large plant nursery in the area that I'd never been to before. That's where I actually got some of these pots that were on the floor that I had to move because Norman was chewing his bone and I thought he was gonna push his bone into the planters. But I got some planters. I have to keep getting planters because I get new plants every month from this plant subscription that my mom got me. And so anytime I see cute small planters that I like, I grab them. And they were on sale as well. So had to grab some planters. Also, Nafis is a big fan of jellyfish. So I got this one. I had to get this jellyfish planter, and my friend got it as well. So we have matching planters now. That's the new thing, you know. Instead of friendship bracelets, it's friendship plants. Anyway, had a great time there. Norman and I came back, and I had to take care of a couple things in the afternoon. I took him to the park, and then in the evening, I went and had dinner and more ice cream with another friend. Always ice cream, yes, but we went to Salt and Straw, which is a, I thought the first one was in Portland, Oregon, and that may be the case, but they've expanded all over now. They have them in Washington and in California as well, but it's really good. They do some really non-traditional flavors, but their seasonal flavors this month were all berry themed, and they had a birthday cake and blackberry one, which I thought was too, like, perfectly themed. I had to get that on my birthday, so I got that one. They also had it was like a blueberry or a raspberry pie or something, but that one was really good. The weird one they had this month was like a berry yogurt lassi, and it had like savory spices in it. Like my friend got it. I tried it, and the guy there was saying like at the end you should be able to taste the cumin, and you really could. It had like cumin and like other kind of like spices in it, in addition to that like really refreshing like yogurt and berry flavor. So that was really interesting. But yeah, had a great time, and then came back home, and yeah, this week, today's Tuesday, so this week has just been a lot of trying to take care of pattern stuff, get pattern stuff ready to go. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Get ready for our trip as well. Like I mentioned, we're leaving on Friday, and then also dealing with the car. That is now fixed though. I will say, it is not making the noise anymore. So we're good to go. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else. Oh, I did just an update on our outdoor plants. We have some like veggies and stuff outside that we've been growing. Our tomato plants are looking pretty good. We do finally have tomatoes out there. They're not ripe yet, but we do actually have tomatoes growing. We did another strawberry harvest and our first kale harvest. So now that it's warming up a little bit, I think the plants are a lot happier. So I definitely need to remember to water them today, especially since it's so hot outside. I did some other plant upkeep for my indoor plants as well yesterday. I had to repot a couple and trim some of the dead off of some of them and just go through and do a little bit of a cleanup. I'm hoping to get some new shelves to put my plants on, and I was hoping to do that this week, but don't think that's going to happen. I had unexpected car stuff to deal with, so I think that'll have to wait. But yeah, otherwise things are going, I would say, pretty well. I'm really excited about the new pattern stuff. I'm excited about our trip. I had a great time with birthday celebrations. I felt super loved. I got some really fun gifts from friends and family as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I appreciate any of you that consider applying to test knit my new pattern. And like I mentioned before, I have another pattern, my dad's sweater, in the works. This one will be another couple months, so shortly after the test period ends for this one, I will have a test call for this pattern. So I don't feel ready to run 2 tests at a time yet. Maybe someday, but not right now. So stay tuned. Toward the end of August, early September is when my testing call for my dad's sweater will be happening. So thanks so much for watching, and I hope you do lots of knitting and watch lots of baseball and have an excellent week. Bye.